Let me tell you something. Life is a game. A high stakes, no timeouts, unpredictable game. And the brutal truth, most people don't even realize they're playing. They walk through life clueless, wondering why they keep losing, why things never seem to go their way. The world isn't fair. It never has been. But it does play by rules. Rules that don't care about your excuses, your background, or your struggles. You either learn them or you get played. That's how it works. Winners don't waste time complaining about the game. They study it, they master it, and they make it work for them. Because if you don't take control, someone else will. And trust me, they won't be looking out for you. So the question is, are you just another piece on the board? Or are you the one making the moves? Are you playing to win or just showing up? Going through life on autopilot is not the same as competing. Just showing up, going through the motions, hoping things will magically fall into place. That's how people lose. You don't win games by standing on the field. You win by playing with strategy, with intensity, with purpose. Every successful person you admire made a choice to compete, not just exist. They didn't wait for opportunities to land in their lap. They didn't let life push them around. They stepped up, took risks, and played to win. So ask yourself, what's your strategy? Or are you just hoping for the best? Because hope alone isn't a strategy. Wishing doesn't win championships. Action does. The clock is ticking. The game is live. Are you ready to step up and play? Let's get one thing straight. Excuses don't win. Period. You can list every reason why things didn't work out, but at the end of the day, results are all that matter. No one cares how close you almost got. No one hands out trophies for effort. Life rewards execution. Champions don't waste time justifying failure. They study it, learn from it, and come back stronger. But too many people waste energy blaming their circumstances, their past, their bad luck. Guess what? Winners face the same obstacles, the same setbacks, but they own them. They don't sit around pointing fingers. They take responsibility and fix it. So stop looking outside for why things aren't working. The real battle isn't out there, it's in you. Own your mistakes, take control. Because the second you stop making excuses, that's the second you start winning. The pawns versus the players. Which one are you? In this game of life, there are only two kinds of people. Those who move the board and those who get moved. The ones who call the shots and the ones who follow orders. The ones who create and the ones who consume. If you don't make your own opportunities, you'll be working for someone who did. That's reality. The world isn't waiting to hand you success. You have to take it. Leaders don't wait for permission. They don't wait for luck. They make their own moves, take their own risks, and shape their own future. So which one are you? Are you setting the direction of your life, or are you letting someone else decide it for you? Are you a player in control, or just another pawn being moved around? Because in the end, it's not about where you start, it's about whether you decide to play the game and play to win. The first step to winning, learn the rules of the game. Every industry, every success story, every victory follows a pattern. Nothing happens by accident. Behind every champion, every leader, every innovator is one thing in common. They studied the game. Amateurs play blind, hoping for the best. Professionals, they analyze, they learn, they adapt. They know what works, what doesn't, and why. That's the difference between failing blindly and failing forward. Because failure isn't the enemy, ignorance is. If you don't know the rules, how can you expect to win? The first step to success is understanding the game you're playing. Learn it, master it, and use it to your advantage. You can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. The world keeps moving whether you're ready or not. The weak complain, the average wait, and the winners, they adapt and take control. No one's handing out invitations to success. No one's coming to save you. If you're waiting for permission to chase your goals, you've already lost. Winners don't ask, they act. So what's it gonna be? Stand still and watch opportunities pass you by, or step up, adapt, and take what's yours? The next move is yours, make it count. You can't win a game you don't even know you're playing. And that's the problem. Most people are moving through life clueless, wondering why nothing ever goes their way. They show up, work hard, hope for the best, and still lose. Why? Because effort without strategy is wasted motion. The world doesn't reward complaints. It doesn't care about fairness. It rewards those who understand the system and learn how to use it. Success isn't luck, it's preparation. It's about knowing the rules, the players, and the plays that win. So ask yourself, are you navigating your field with intention? Or are you just hoping things will magically fall into place? Because hope is not a strategy. If you don't understand the game, you're not playing. You're being played. Chess has a board. Basketball has a court. Every game has a playing field. And success has an environment. Your career, your business, your industry. It all operates by a set of rules. Rules that decide who wins, who loses, and who gets left behind. And if you don't know those rules, if you don't study the landscape you're competing in, you're already at a disadvantage. The top performers don't guess their way to success. They learn everything about the game they're in. They study the market, they analyze trends, they understand what works and what doesn't. Because if you don't take the time to figure it out, someone else will. And guess what? They'll be the ones calling the shots while you struggle to keep up. So do you know the field you're playing on, or are you just hoping to stumble onto success? Life is not a playground, it's a battlefield. A constantly shifting, unforgiving arena where only the prepared survive. Look at history, look at business, look at sports. The winners are always the ones who adapt. They study the terrain, anticipate challenges, and adjust their strategy. The losers, they walk in blind, ignore the warning signs, and then blame bad luck when things don't go their way. Let's be clear, the world will not slow down for you. It won't wait while you figure things out. The ones who refuse to learn the game, who resist change, who cling to outdated habits, they don't just lose, they get left behind. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna prepare for battle, or are you going to step onto the field unprepared and hope for the best? Because in this game, only those who adapt win. Stop guessing, start studying. Who's winning? Success isn't random. It's not magic, luck, or some secret formula locked away in a vault. It leaves clues. And every industry has top players, people who figured out the game and mastered it. The real question is, are you paying attention? Most people waste years trying to figure it out from scratch, making the same mistakes over and over. Meanwhile, the winners, they study, they watch, they learn, they analyze what works and why. If you're not looking at what successful people are doing differently, you're setting yourself up for years of trial and error. Stop guessing, stop hoping. Look at the leaders in your field. What strategies do they use? What habits do they follow? What mindsets do they live by? You don't need to copy them. You need to learn from them. Because if you refuse to model success, you'll waste years reinventing the wheel. Let's get something straight. The game doesn't care about how you feel about the rules. It won't stop. It won't adjust to make things easier for you. It will move forward, with or without you. You can argue that life is unfair. You can complain that others have an advantage. But here's the truth. Complaining never made anyone a winner. The only thing that ever changed the game for someone was learning how to play it better. You have two choices. You can sit on the sidelines making excuses about why you're not winning, or you can adapt, take control, and figure out how to move forward. Because the people who understand the system, who master the field, who refuse to make excuses, they don't just survive, they dominate. So what's it going to be? Adapt and rise, or stand still and watch others pass you by? The first move, study, strategize, and dominate. Every great player in history had one thing in common. They studied before they played. They didn't just rush in blind, hoping for the best. They started with awareness. Where are you right now? Who's winning in your field? What trends are shaping the game? If you don't know, then you're already falling behind. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is what changes everything. Learn the rules. Study the patterns. Position yourself for success. Winners don't wait for the perfect moment. They prepare, they strategize, and when the time comes, they execute. The game is happening right now. Opportunities are moving, evolving, shifting as we speak. The only question is, are you ready to play? Or are you just standing on the sidelines waiting for someone to hand you a strategy? Because no one is coming to save you. It's your move. Make it count. Success isn't built on flashy moves. It's not about gimmicks, shortcuts, or chasing the latest trend. It's built on fundamentals. The simple, repetitive, often boring basics that most people ignore. Look at any champion, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists. They all have one thing in common. They drilled the basics relentlessly. They didn't rush the process. They didn't skip steps. They built their skills brick by brick until they became undeniable. But most people, they want the glory without the grind. They want to skip the foundation, go straight to the highlight reel. But let me tell you something. When the pressure hits, when the moment gets tough, your fancy tricks won't save you. Only your foundation will. So ask yourself, are you truly mastering the basics, or are you just hoping you'll figure it out along the way? Because if you don't build a strong foundation now, don't be surprised when everything crumbles later. The best athletes, the greatest musicians, the most successful business leaders, they all started the same way, with fundamentals. Before a basketball player dunks, they learn to dribble. Before a pianist plays a masterpiece, they master their scales. Before an entrepreneur makes millions, they understand the market. It's easy to get distracted by the big picture, by the success you want to have. But success isn't about jumping straight to the top. It's about doing the small things the right way over and over again until they become second nature. So be honest with yourself. Are you investing time in what truly matters, or are you chasing shortcuts that won't last? Because the people who rise, the ones who truly win, are the ones who respect the process. They don't rush, they don't cut corners, they commit to excellence in the smallest details, because they know that's what builds greatness. The hidden cost of skipping the basics. You might think you can skip the basics and still win. Maybe you've seen people cut corners and succeed, but let me tell you something. Weak fundamentals will always get exposed under pressure, always. When the game is on the line, when business is collapsing, when life throws a curveball, the people who crumble are the ones who never built a strong foundation. They relied on luck, on talent, on things that don't last. But the ones who rise, the ones who stay standing when everything gets tough, they're the ones who put in the work when no one was watching. So take a good look at your foundation. Are you building real skills, real knowledge, real discipline? Or are you gambling on luck? Because if your success depends on luck instead of skill, you're already losing. And the moment the pressure hits, the truth will show. Every industry has key fundamentals. The question is, do you even know yours? Whether it's business, sports, music, or personal growth, success is built on a set of core principles. The fundamentals are not a secret. They're not locked away, reserved for the elite. They are right there, in plain sight. But most people never take the time to study them. They chase distractions instead of mastering what actually matters. Look at the best in your field. What do they all have in common? They don't just know the fundamentals, they live them. They identify the key skills, study them obsessively, and drill them daily. So ask yourself, what are the fundamental skills that drive success in your field? And more importantly, are you actively working on them? Because if you're not focused on mastering the foundation, everything else you build will eventually collapse. No one is born a master. No one comes into this world knowing how to run a business, shoot a perfect jump shot, or write a best-selling book. Skills are developed, not gifted. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't, repetition and discipline. That's it. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about the willingness to show up every single day and do the work. That's the good news. You don't need some special advantage. You don't need connections, a perfect background, or some once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. All you need is the commitment to mastering the essentials. And here's the truth. Most people won't do it. They'll make excuses. They'll get distracted. They'll quit when it gets boring. But the few who commit, they separate themselves. They become the ones others admire, the ones others call naturally talented, when in reality, they just put in the work that most people refuse to do. Success doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice, by action, by execution. Right now, identify the top 3 fundamentals in your industry, the 3 core skills that determine success, the ones that separate amateurs from professionals. Write them down, and then commit to drilling them until they become second nature. Because greatness isn't built through one big move. It's built through small, consistent actions every single day. It's built in the moments when no one is watching, when no one is cheering you on, when the work is repetitive and unglamorous. Most people will quit. They'll look for shortcuts. They'll hope for some overnight success story, but not you. Because you understand mastery isn't about luck. It's about repetition. It's about discipline. It's about drilling the fundamentals until you dominate. So don't wait. Start now, because the ones who take action today, they become the ones everyone else looks up to tomorrow. Winners attack. Losers react. You don't win by avoiding losses. You win by making bold moves. Too many people live life in reaction mode, waiting, hesitating, hoping that opportunities will magically appear. But that's not how champions operate. The difference between those who win and those who watch, one creates opportunities, the other waits for them. Look at the most successful people in any field. They don't sit back and wait for things to happen. They make things happen. They take the first step. They set the pace. They dictate the game. And because they attack life with purpose, they force the world to respond to them, not the other way around. So ask yourself, are you leading the game, or are you just trying to survive? Because survival isn't winning. And if all you do is react, you'll never get ahead. It's time to stop waiting and start taking control. Life isn't fair. Playing it safe won't protect you. It won't guarantee success. It won't even prevent failure. All it does is keep you in the same place, stuck, stagnant, watching others pass you by. Fear of failure keeps most people on defense. They tiptoe through life, trying to avoid mistakes, hoping that if they don't take risks, they won't lose. But in reality, playing safe is the biggest risk of all, because while you're standing still, someone else is moving forward. While you're hesitating, someone else is making a move. Winners don't wait for permission. They don't sit around hoping for the perfect opportunity. They push forward, take calculated risks, and create their own success. Because in the end, you either take control of your future or you become a pawn in someone else's. Let me be clear, avoiding problems is not the same as winning. Too many people spend their lives dodging difficulties, reacting to setbacks, and playing defense. But defense doesn't win championships, offense does. If all you do is react, you'll always be behind. The moment you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect time, the perfect conditions, you've already lost. Because the truth is, there is no perfect moment. The only way to get ahead is to create one. The best competitors, the most successful leaders, the true game changers, they don't wait for things to happen, they make them happen. They set the tempo, they take control. And because they're always on the attack, they force the competition to adjust to them, not the other way around. So stop waiting, stop reacting, start acting. Because in this game of life, only those who play to win ever do. Look at the greatest business leaders. They don't wait for trends to emerge, they create them. They don't follow the market, they shape it. That's why they're at the top. Look at the greatest athletes. They don't sit back and hope for an opening, they force one. They don't wait for the perfect shot, they take it. This is the truth across every field: business, sports, life itself. Success doesn't follow those who sit back, hesitate, and wait for permission. It follows those who force their way forward, those who step up, take risks, and bet on themselves. The people who make history, the ones who leave a legacy, they all have one thing in common: they act. They push through fear, through doubt, through uncertainty, because they know one thing for sure: waiting never wins. Bold action does. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when I feel ready, when I have more confidence, when the time is right, when the stars align? Let me tell you something, waiting will steal everything from you. Confidence doesn't come first. The right time doesn't come first. Action comes first. And that is what creates confidence. That is what builds momentum. Every day you hesitate, someone else is making moves, someone else is stepping up, someone else is grabbing the opportunity that could have been yours. And if you keep waiting, you'll wake up one day wondering where all the time went, wondering why you never started. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, start doing, because the only way to get ahead is to move forward. Not tomorrow, not later, now, right now. It's one bold move you can make toward your goal. One real action that puts you on the path to winning. Not planning, not researching, not thinking about it, a real, tangible step. Because that's the difference between people who talk about success and people who actually get it. Action, movement, execution. Potential means nothing without action. Ideas are worthless without follow-through. And dreams? They'll stay dreams forever if you don't do something about them. So stop reacting, stop playing defense, start attacking. The world doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards those who step up, make the move, and play to win. So make your move today, because every day you delay is another day lost. Success leaves clues, but only if you're looking in the right places. Too many people make the mistake of studying those who are struggling instead of those who are winning. They listen to average advice from average people and wonder why they stay stuck. Watching others fail doesn't teach you how to succeed, it only reinforces what not to do. Think about it. If you wanted to become a world-class athlete, would you take advice from someone who never made it past high school sports? If you wanted to build $1 million business, would you ask someone who's barely getting by? Who you learn from matters. Who you listen to matters. So ask yourself, are you learning from true masters, or are you just following people who talk about success but have never actually achieved it? Because if you're studying amateurs, you're setting yourself up for the same results they get. You don't learn chess from someone who loses every match. You don't learn how to be wealthy from someone who's broke. You don't learn greatness from people who settled for average. The best athletes, the most successful business leaders, the top performers in any field, they all had mentors, people who'd already walked the path, made the mistakes, and figured out what works. They didn't waste time trying to figure it all out from scratch. They studied those who had already succeeded. If your role models aren't where you want to be, you're following the wrong people. Simple as that. Stop taking advice from people who've never done what you're trying to do. Find those who have won the game and learn exactly how they did it. Because if you're serious about success, you don't need more opinions, you need proven strategies. The biggest difference between those who succeed and those who fail? Mindset. Winners see challenges as opportunities. Losers see them as excuses to quit. Winners take responsibility for their results. Losers blame the system, the economy, or bad luck. Winners focus on solutions, while losers focus on problems. And here's the truth. Who you spend time with and who you learn from will shape the way you think. If you surround yourself with complainers, doubters, and excuse makers, their mindset will rub off on you. You'll start thinking small, playing it safe, and settling for less. But if you learn from winners, you'll start thinking like a winner. You'll absorb the habits, strategies, and discipline that lead to success. So be honest. Are you copying those who are winning or those who are losing? Because the choice you make will define your future. Why struggle to figure everything out the hard way when someone else has already paved the way? There's no prize for learning through pain when shortcuts exist. And no, I don't mean shortcuts like skipping hard work. I mean shortcuts like learning from people who've already done it. The fastest way to grow is to study what works and apply it immediately. Look at every major success story. They didn't succeed by guessing. They followed pattern strategies and systems that had already been proven. That's why some people skyrocket while others crawl forward at a snail's pace. Success isn't about being the first to figure it out. It's about being smart enough to follow what already works. So the question is, are you wasting time trying to reinvent the wheel, or are you using the knowledge that's already out there? Success is not random, it's not luck, it's a science. A repeatable process with patterns, rules, and proven strategies. Every great athlete follows a training system. Every world-class entrepreneur understands business fundamentals. Every top performer has routines, habits, and principles that set them apart. Nothing they do is accidental. They don't wing it. They don't rely on luck. They follow a formula. The question is, are you? Because here's the reality. You can either learn from personal experience, making mistakes, wasting years, figuring things out the hard way, or you can learn from those who've already made it. One path is slow, painful, and uncertain. The other is faster, smarter, and proven to work. So stop leaving your success up to chance. Stop hoping for a lucky break. Study the formula, follow the process, and execute. Because success isn't a mystery, it's a method. Right now, think about the top 3 people in your field, the ones who are absolutely crushing it, the ones at the peak of the game, the ones whose success you want to replicate. Now ask yourself, what are they doing differently? What habits do they have? What daily routines, skills, and strategies make them stand out? Success isn't a guessing game. It's about reverse engineering what already works. If you want to grow faster, stop trying to figure it all out by yourself. Find those who have already won, study their path, and start applying it to your own journey. Because who you learn from will determine how fast you grow. Choose wisely. And more importantly, take action today. Stress isn't your enemy, it's your test. When the pressure hits, when things get hard, when life throws everything at you, that's when you find out who you really are. Pressure doesn't create weakness, it exposes it. It doesn't break the strong, it separates them from the ones who fold. Look around. Every great success story was built in high pressure moments. The ones who win, they don't run from stress. They don't avoid difficulty, they lean into it because they know that pressure isn't there to destroy them, it's there to shape them. So the question is, when the moment comes, when everything is on the line, will you rise or will you crumble? Because pressure isn't something to fear, it's something to master. And the ones who learn how to handle it, they're the ones who win. Champions don't avoid pressure, they don't wish things were easier. They prepare for the moment when the stakes are the highest. Think about the clutch players. The legends, the ones who step onto the court, onto the field, onto the stage, and deliver when it matters most. They don't crack under pressure, they rise because of it. That's what separates the great from the average. When the moment is big, most people shrink. But the best, they embrace it, they train for it, they don't see pressure as something to fear, they see it as an opportunity to prove themselves. So if you want to be the best, if you want to reach the highest level, you have to welcome pressure, because the people who run from it will never be great. But the ones who lean in, they're the ones who become legends. When things get hard, what do? Do you find solutions, or do you make excuses? Do you rise to the occasion, or do you let stress control you? Because here's the truth. Winners push through stress. Losers let it consume them. The most successful people in the world, they expect stress. They know it's part of the process. And instead of breaking under it, they use it to fuel their next move. But most people, they let stress be their excuse, they let it slow them down, hold them back, and keep them stuck. So what do you do when the stakes are high? When life puts you under pressure, do you crack, or do you step up and show the world what you're made of? Because that answer, that single choice, will determine your future. Weak people break under stress, strong people become unshakable. Think about it, diamonds aren't formed in comfort. They don't appear overnight. They're created under extreme pressure, forged through heat, refined by force. And the same goes for you. Tough moments don't define you, they refine you. Pressure isn't there to destroy you, it's there to shape you into something stronger. The people who rise to the top, so when life gets tough, when the weight feels unbearable, don't wish for it to go away, use it. Because the ones who embrace pressure, who push through it instead of running from it, those are the ones who come out the other side unbreakable. If you fold under pressure, you lose credibility, period. People don't follow those who panic. They don't trust those who crumble. They respect those who can hold their ground when the world is falling apart. Think about the leaders, the game changers, the people who command respect. They didn't earn it by being fragile. They earned it by proving that no matter what happens, no matter how tough things get, they won't break. So if you want to be taken seriously, if you want to lead, influence, and be someone others look up to, you need to show that you can handle the heat, because in the real world, resilience is currency. Weakness gets ignored. When pressure hits, the world is watching. Will you prove that you can take it, or will you give them a reason to doubt you? The choice is yours. Stop running from stress. Stop avoiding discomfort. If you want to win, you need to learn how to master pressure, not escape it. The next time you feel stress creeping in, stop and remind yourself, this is my proving ground. This is where I become stronger. This is where I separate myself from the ones who quit. Champions don't wait for things to get easier. They don't sit back hoping the pressure fades. They embrace it, they adapt, they rise. So today, make a decision. Stop wishing for comfort and start building resilience. Start seeing pressure for what it is. Not a problem, but an opportunity. An opportunity to show yourself and the world what you're really made of. Because the ones who master pressure, they don't just survive, they dominate. Most failures don't happen because people lack talent. They don't happen because they weren't smart enough or skilled enough. They happen because people quit too soon. The moment things get tough, the moment obstacles show up, that's when most people walk away. They tell themselves, maybe this wasn't meant for me. They convince themselves that if it was supposed to happen, it would have been easier. But let me tell you something. Nothing worth having comes easy. Think about it. How many times have you stopped just because it got hard? How many times did you give up? Only to realize later that you might have been closer than you thought. Because here's the truth. If you always quit when it gets hard, you'll never know how close you were to winning. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who refuse to stop. The most successful people in the world aren't always the smartest. They're not always the most talented. But they are the ones who never gave up. The difference between winners and everyone else, they keep going when others stop. They push through rejection. They push through failure. They push through the moments when it feels impossible. Look at any success story, any athlete, any business leader, any artist. The one thing they all have in common isn't talent, it's resilience. It's the ability to get knocked down and stand back up. To hear no 1,000 times and still keep pushing forward. So if you're struggling right now, if you feel like giving up, ask yourself this. What if the only thing standing between you and success is your ability to keep going? Because at the end of the day, endurance beats talent every time. You don't win by going fast, you win by going far. Some people burn out because they expect instant results. They start with fire, with passion, with excitement. But the moment things slow down, the moment progress isn't happening as fast as they want, they give up. They tell themselves it's not working. But success doesn't happen overnight. It's not a quick burst of effort. It's consistent, relentless progress over time. It's about showing up when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work when no one is watching. If you treat success like a sprint, you'll collapse before the finish line. But if you pace yourself, if you commit to staying in the game no matter how long it takes, you will get there. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they couldn't succeed. They fail because they stopped too soon. Be honest, how many times have you started something with excitement, with energy, with determination, only to walk away the moment things got hard? Think about it. That business idea you had, that fitness goal, that skill you wanted to master, you were all in until the struggle showed up, until progress felt slow, until doubt crept in. This is the cycle that keeps people stuck. They jump from one thing to the next, hoping the next attempt will somehow be easier. But success doesn't work like that. It tests you, it challenges you, it makes you prove how bad you really want it. And the only way to break the quitting pattern, commit to the long game. Decide that this time, you're not stopping. This time, when it gets hard, you push through, because if you keep quitting, you'll keep starting over. And that's a cycle that leads nowhere. Winners aren't special. They don't have some magical advantage. They don't always have more talent, better connections, or an easier path. They just refuse to walk away when things get tough. Look around. Most people quit. Most people back down at the first sign of resistance. But if you can stay in the game longer than them, you automatically increase your chances of winning, because here's the truth. The longer you stay in the game, the more opportunities come your way. The more you learn, the more you grow, the more chances you have to break through. So when others give up, that's not your signal to quit. That's your opportunity to rise. Right now, choose one thing you've been tempted to quit and push through it. Don't let another goal die just because it got uncomfortable. The next level, the breakthrough, the success you've been chasing, it's not reserved for the lucky or the talented. It's reserved for the ones who refuse to back down. So don't leave the game early. Don't let quitting be the habit that defines your life. Your victory might be closer than you think, but you'll never know if you stop now. So commit, show up, and see it through, because this time you're not stopping. Now, you know the rules. Are you gonna play? You've seen how winners think. You've seen how they act, how they execute. But now the question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Knowing the game is one thing, but stepping onto the field, that's something entirely different. Success isn't something you watch from the sidelines. It's something you compete for. It's something you earn. And let me tell you, the game of success doesn't wait for anyone. Either you play or you get played. Either you take action or someone else calls the shots in your life. So are you ready to step up? Or will you let hesitation and fear keep you on the bench? Because the opportunity is in front of you, but the decision, that's yours to make. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more blaming. If you're waiting for perfect conditions, you've already lost. There will never be a perfect moment, never a time where everything lines up just right. If you keep waiting, life will pass you by. Because while you're waiting, someone else is moving. While you're making excuses, someone else is executing. Excuses don't change reality. Actions do. So stop waiting. Stop blaming circumstances. Stop looking for something outside of yourself to make it easier. It won't. The time for waiting is over. The time to move is now. Because the longer you hesitate, the harder it gets. And the only way forward is to step up and take control. Life rewards the bold, not the hesitant. It rewards those who take risks, not those who sit back waiting for certainty. Every winner was once exactly where you are now. They had doubts, they had fears, they weren't sure if they were ready, but they made one critical choice, the choice to step forward anyway. That's the only difference. The only thing that separates the people who make it from the people who don't. So ask yourself, are you ready to step up, or will you stay where it's safe? Growth only happens when you move toward the things that scare you. Fear will always exist. Doubt will always whisper in your ear, but champions, they act despite them. You don't stumble into success. You commit to it. You don't wake up one day and suddenly have everything you want. You decide over and over again to show up, to push forward, to keep going even when it's hard. The people who make things happen, they aren't always the most talented, they aren't the luckiest, they're just the most determined. They're the ones who refuse to quit. And right now, you're at a crossroads. One path keeps you exactly where you are, comfortable, safe, but stuck. The other path, it's uncertain, it's challenging, but it leads to something greater. Which one are you choosing? Because winning isn't an accident, it's a decision. And this is your moment to make it. Life doesn't pause while you figure things out. It doesn't slow down to give you time to prepare. The world keeps moving, whether you play or not. And those who hesitate, they get left behind. The ones who sit back waiting for things to get easier, they watch as others pass them by. If you're not taking control of your own life, someone else is. Someone else is making the decisions. Someone else is shaping your future for you. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna step up and play, or are you gonna let the game move on without you? Because the clock is ticking, and the ones who act now are the ones who win later. This is it. Your moment, your decision. The next step, it's yours to take. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be forward. Because every champion, every success story, every person who made it big, they all started the same way. They made one simple choice: to start. To stop watching and start playing. So the question is, are you going to watch, or are you going to win? Because the game isn't waiting. The opportunity is right in front of you. And the only thing left to do, make your move.